With the WINN FM News, I am Kevin Brown.
And I am Yolana Weeks.
Our top stories.
A multi-talented musician, Kamar Keynes, showered with praises from the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley.
Government of St. Kitts and Nevis sends essential supplies to students in Cuba. Fatal hit and run in Bastille claims life of Ike Tross. Police appeal for public assistance.
STEM education program in Nevis to be enhanced with digital literacy framework.
Financial scams in St. Kitts and Nevis, an expanding threat to hard-earned savings.
Charlestown Secondary School celebrates 75 years of excellence.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister defends airport project, pledges full transparency. Guyana's territorial integrity will remain intact. Internationally, Iran and U.S. resume nuclear negotiations in Rome. Now, the details. On May 20th, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis took a significant step to support its nationals pursuing education abroad by facilitating the shipment of a 20-foot container filled with essential supplies to the Republic of Cuba. The thoughtful initiative was coordinated through the Prime Minister's office in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, reflecting the government's ongoing commitment to the welfare of its citizens overseas. The container includes a variety of care packages carefully assembled to ensure the students' comfort and well-being. Among the items dispatched are water, personal hygiene products, dry food, medical supplies, batteries, and other necessary provisions that might otherwise be difficult to access in Cuba under normal circumstances. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, et al., the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, spoke at the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA headquarters, where the items were packed. He emphasized the importance of the government's efforts, stating,
"As we gather to do some goodwill for the people of Cuba, especially the St. Kitts and Nevis students who are studying in the Republic of Cuba at this time. What we're doing is really sending to them some important daily and relief supplies, foodstuff, toiletries, items that they are going to be using on a daily basis and which may be difficult to obtain in Cuba under normal circumstances."
Dr. Douglas expressed gratitude to all parties involved in the successful organization and shipment, acknowledging the coordination of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the support of TDC, the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, and NEMA for providing the packing facility. He also recognized the invaluable labor of inmates who packed the goods and thanked parents for their generous contributions.
I want to thank the parents as well, who have made significant donations and contributions to make this a success.
Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew also expressed appreciation for the collective effort, highlighting the role of the Prime Minister's office in acquiring a substantial portion of the provisions. Having graduated from a Cuban university, Dr. Drew underscored this gesture's personal and national significance.
This effort of sending these very vital supplies to Cuba was coordinated by Foreign Affairs. I want to thank all the others who were involved, including who the Foreign Minister would have thanked, but I also want to thank the Prime Minister's office for purchasing a large quantity of goods and supplies for our students in Cuba. As you know, I'm a Cuban graduate, and therefore this one, in addition to really helping our citizens and also helping, I would say, fellow alumni of the Cuban Association. And this effort is really to help them while they are pursuing their studies in Cuba to return to St. Kitts and Nevis to contribute to national development.
This initiative marks another chapter in the enduring relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis and Cuba. It highlights the Federation's unwavering support for its students and dedication to promoting education as a cornerstone of national progress. By addressing the practical needs of its citizens abroad, the government reinforces its pledge to safeguard their welfare and foster strong ties of friendship and cooperation within the Caribbean region.
A 15-year-old student of the Charlestown Secondary School, Kamar Keynes, could hardly go unnoticed as his frequent appearances with the Sugar Hill String Band have captured the hearts of many. At his very youthful age, Kamar cemented himself as a revered fifer, banjo, and guitar player while he tried to master the art of other instruments. At the Charlestown Secondary School's 75th anniversary Thanksgiving service, Kmar, joined by other members of the Sugar Hill String Band, entertained the gathering, which included the Deputy Governor General Hyleta Liburd and Premier of Nevis Mark Brantley. Brantley, in particular, when viewing Kmar's performance, expressed delight that the string band music art form is being kept alive by younger generations, regarding it as an example of Nevisian excellence.
As I sat there this morning and I looked at the string band, and I saw this youngster in the front in a CSS uniform playing the fife, and then as if he thought, let me show them what other skills I have, he took up the banjo, and some of might feel that he is perhaps capable of playing all the instruments in the band. That young man, as indeed every person who has graced this stage today thus far, are examples of the excellence that is Nevis.
As repeatedly shared by the hosts of the local program, The Good Old Days on 2020 Vision Radio, in light of growing globalization, it is paramount that elements of intangible cultural heritage and traditions be safeguarded. Sharing similar sentiments, UNESCO's Director General Audrey Azoulay said, quote, respecting heritage is not only about safeguarding it now, it is also about making it known to future generations. This means ensuring that young people can appropriate heritage, take pride in it, and renew it, unquote.
A somber mood has gripped the Bastille community following a tragic hit-and-run incident that occurred on the evening of May 21st, 2025, resulting in the death of Ike Tross of Taylor's St. Kitts. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has launched an investigation into the circumstances of this fatal event. According to official reports, Tross sustained critical injuries after being struck by a vehicle in the Bastille area. Emergency responders promptly transported him to the Joseph and France General Hospital, where, despite medical intervention, he succumbed to his injuries shortly after arrival. The police have described the incident as a hit-and-run, with the driver responsible yet to be identified. Recently, a video purportedly depicting Tross at the scene has circulated widely across social media platforms. This footage, recorded by a passerby, has drawn significant public attention and commentary. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has confirmed that this video and other evidence are integral to the active investigation. Authorities emphasize that established legal and investigative procedures meticulously examine each piece of information. The police force has warned the public about risks associated with spreading unverified or emotionally charged content. Such dissemination can undermine the integrity of an active investigation, potentially impeding justice. Citizens are therefore urged to support the investigative process by refraining from circulating unconfirmed information and allowing the authorities to conduct a thorough, impartial inquiry into the events that led to Tross's untimely death. In an appeal to the public, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force encourages anyone who may have witnessed the incident or possesses relevant information to come forward. Those with knowledge that may assist the investigation are urged to contact the Criminal Investigations Department directly at 465-2241 extension 4220 or visit their nearest police station. The police have assured that all information received will be treated with the utmost confidentiality. This tragic loss has deeply affected the local community, marking another somber chapter in St. Kitts and Nevis's ongoing efforts to curb violent and reckless acts on its roads. Further updates on the tragic death of Ike Tross will be provided as the investigation progresses.
The students' body and the teachers across the schools in Nevis will soon embark on a transition from what had been termed traditionally as information technology to digital literacy. Present-day youth are viewed as digital natives. However, digital literacy is more than having access to and using smart devices. It is also about using technology safely and effectively in the changing digital landscape. Mr. John Williams, Education Officer responsible for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics, STEM education within the Department of Education Nevis, said students must understand the importance of digital literacy and how best to use available technology. He shared this importance during a media launch for STEM Week 2025 on May 19.
A key focus for us this year is a digital literacy plan. Recognizing where we are and taking a close look at what we've been doing over time, we recognize it is necessary for students not just to operate a computer, but to understand who they are as digital citizens and to develop an understanding of how best to leverage the power of technology that we have available to us now and beyond the time that we are in. Ideas like programming, robotics, AI, artificial intelligence that is, and other things are a very real part of our existence at this time. And we at the ministry recognize that we have to play our part to ensure that our population receives the right training and instruction in how to utilize these things effectively and productively.
The advancement towards digital literacy has been pursued for more than 2 years. According to Williams, the Department of Education, Nevis, is partnering with officials in St. Kitts and with UNESCO to develop a well-structured digital literacy curriculum as part of the STEM education program in Nevis.
Several steps were explored in this journey in trying to identify the best approach. So a lot of the work this year has been done behind the scenes, a lot of planning. Of course, this work did not begin this year. We started, about 2 years ago, beginning the groundwork, researching, finding out what skill sets we have. We've reviewed existing documents, of course, and right now our go-to, we're paying close attention to the framework from UNESCO, referencing digital literacy skills. And so we have looked at various curriculum across the globe. We've, of course, done some travel, as you may have learned about, to places like Estonia, Finland, to see some of what they would have done and or are doing, to see how best to shape what we would like to see happen here in Nevis. We're also, of course, working very closely with our sister island, St. Kitts, in developing a guide, a curriculum to ensure that our students are, receive the best instruction in this area.
Digital literacy, a relatively new program to the island of Nevis, aligns with STEM equity, ensuring that STEM education is provided to many people, irrespective of their socio-economic status or background. STEM is an integral part of society, showing its value in every aspect of life, from simply sending an email, ordering food online, researching information, engaging in virtual classes, applying for a job, paying bills, and transferring money. Williams informed that sensitization initiatives will be launched ahead of the 2025-2026 academic year to give the general public a comprehensive understanding of digital literacy.
Digital literacy, however, is something very new for us, we recognize, and so we will be making efforts to sensitize and to share more information about that with you. And so in the very near future, moving into the upcoming school year, this is something that you will hear a lot more about, digital literacy. As we transition from what we traditionally had in our schools as IT, especially in the primary school, we'll be transitioning to what we are calling digital literacy. We recognize, like I said, that this idea of digital literacy is new, and so we would need to provide more information to you.
The agenda for the digital literacy framework is to ensure that every boy and girl on the island of Nevis has the necessary information technology capacity to fully participate in the society, democracy, and economy.
The residents of St. Kitts and Nevis are witnessing an alarming surge in financial scams, which have left many victims globally financially devastated. In a recent episode of ECCB Connects, Alusha Faisal, CEO of the Eastern Caribbean Securities Regulatory Commission, ECSRC, shed light on this growing menace, emphasizing the importance of awareness and vigilance among the public.
More and more, people are being tricked out of their hard-earned money by schemes like Creative Alliance and others that look sweet on the outside, but leave victims broke and broken.
Explained Shanna Derrick from the Corporation Relations Department as she introduced the discussion on ECCB Connects. Faisal defined a financial scam as
any deceptive practice or fraudulent scheme that is aimed at tricking someone or persons into giving up their money or sensitive financial information.
She clarified that such scams fall under the broader category of financial fraud, which involves illegal activities designed to deceive individuals for monetary gain. Among the scams discussed, investment fraud remains prevalent, notably those promising
high returns with little to no risk, and they often involve fake investments or securities.
Phishing scams involving fake emails, texts, or websites to extract personal information were also highlighted as common tactics. These were alongside fake prize scams that lure victims with lottery or sweepstakes winnings contingent upon upfront payments. One specific scam affecting the region is the Creators Alliance, a pyramid scheme involving recruiting members who invested money converted into cryptocurrency. Participants were promised rewards for watching copyrighted videos, with recruitment being a key element of the scheme, distinguishing it from Ponzi schemes that do not rely on recruitment. Faisal pointed out crucial red flags with such scams: a lack of authorization, unbelievably high and quick returns, and the requirement to recruit others to increase earnings. The ECSRC has underscored the critical need for individuals to trust but verify, advising people to confirm whether those offering financial opportunities are licensed by regulatory authorities such as the ECSRC or national financial regulators.
So every investment has the possibility, comes with the possibility that you can lose some or all of your investment. So that is why we have persons available who the commission licenses that are able to assist you in making your investment decisions.
The human element of trust poses challenges. Often, scammers exploit relationships. They can be close friends or even church members. Faisal advised that individuals must verify claims through official channels, regardless of personal ties, and never accept promises of risk-free, quick profits. Education also plays a vital role in prevention.
We need to find out what a scam is, what exactly you need to look out for when you are approached by these unsuspecting persons, because they themselves may not know that it is a scam, and they believe that it's something good that they're bringing to you. So you have to be a little more conscious and be able to make sure that you do all your homework and do all the verification that is necessary.
Modern technology tools have introduced new complexities. Fraudsters now use artificial intelligence to mimic voices and images, enhancing the sophistication of scams. Traditional phishing attacks remain widespread, targeting victims' account information, while cryptocurrency-related fraud, as seen in the collapse of the entities like FTX, has also been a significant concern in the Caribbean. If someone suspects they have been scammed, Faisal emphasizes prompt action.
You go to the police, because it is in most countries that type of activity is criminal or is criminalized. You can go to the Financial Intelligence Unit to verify and to also make a report.
The ECSRC provides a complaints portal on its website where victims can confidently report fraudulent activities confidentially for investigation and action. Faisal's key message to the public is unequivocal.
If somebody comes to you and tells you that they can double your money in quick time, that is already a scam.
She urged everyone to empower themselves with knowledge, fully utilize regulatory resources, and verify claims to protect their finances and well-being.
The successful legacy of the Charlestown Secondary School, CSS, was not merely built on the backs of the founders, past and present staff, students, and governments, but on the grace and mercy of the Almighty God. Principal of the Charlestown Secondary School and Kittishon songbird Nicola Paris led the audience in the song Jesus A, You Have Done It Again, and backed by a scripture in Psalm, signaled to all in attendance at the school's 75th Thanksgiving service that God had indeed been faithful to the school.
It is my honor and joy to welcome you to this sacred gathering to celebrate 75 years of excellence at the Charlestown Secondary School. Today, we do not merely mark the passage of time. We gather to give God thanks for His unfailing love, His abundant grace, and His guiding hand upon our school community from 1950 to 2025. Indeed, we declare like the psalmist in chapter 126, verse 3, the Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy.
The school's leadership, staff, students, parents, alumni, government and education officials, and other well-wishers assembled at the Nevis Performing Arts Center on May 21 to celebrate with the Charlestown Secondary School, which has grown into a leading academic institution in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The alma mater for so many of the nation's greatest minds is marked by excellence and achievement, said Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis, as he thanked the people who made contributions to the school's longevity and success.
The story of CSS is definitely one of excellence and achievement. And so I want to commend you. I know that I'm told I ought to be brief, and so I intend to be brief, but I want to commend you. I want to commend the teachers and staff, the principals over the years, those who have worked so hard to make this institution one of the finest, if not the finest, academic institution, not only in Nevis, but in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. CSS has excelled.
The theme for the celebration, 75 Years of Excellence, Honoring the Past, Inspiring the Future, was repeated in the Michael Harold Sutton Auditorium countless times during the service, an acknowledgement that the school's legacy has and would continue to resonate with people for generations to come. In her remarks, Sanella Claxton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education Nevis, combed through the CSS motto, Industria et Virtute, and the anniversary theme, aligning their messaging with the remarkable journey and incredible milestones achieved by the school.
For 3/4 of a century, which is no small feat, the Charlestown Secondary School has been a beacon of learning, leadership, sports and character development, and so much more. Today, as we gather in this space to reflect and to honor God for his continued blessings on this institution, we also lift our hearts in pride, raising words devoid of shame, as your school song so boldly declares. Industria et Virtute has not merely been a motto, it has been your mission, a living call that has echoed through generations, shaping young minds to pursue excellence, not just in academics, but in every sphere. Honoring the past. And that means remembering the journey that brought us here, built from the sacrifice, determination, and belief that every child deserves the opportunity to soar.
Claxton expressed that Charlestown Secondary School is 75 years strong because of the founder's vision and the execution of that vision by the school's first principal and his successors, the dedicated faculty and staff, and the generations of students of the institution.
We honor the visionary founders and leaders like the first principal, Gaston O'Fox, and the many towers of strength who have led over the last 75 years. The tireless work of the teachers and the generations of students who, with industry and valor, kept the banner flying high. We celebrate not only our trophies and laurels, though many have been won, and we all know how the Lions are when it comes to winning. We celebrate the struggles ever onwards, the refusal to sit and linger, the persistence to rise above, challenge, and reach for the sky.
The Thanksgiving service included a praise and worship session, the 75 voices of the Charlestown Secondary School singing Holy Forever, a string band presentation featuring student Kamar Keynes, a poem by Hansel Manners, a steel pan rendition by Junior Paris, historical reflections by Michelle Slack Clark, Speaker of the Nevis Island Assembly, and the sermonette by Reverend Mark Christmas. Preceding the Thanksgiving service was a launch on May 1 and an art exhibition on April 9. Meanwhile, the community was invited to join in the year-long celebration with additional opportunities to celebrate until December 2025. Breakfast and shout-out May 24, Carnival Fair May 30, Gala and Award Ceremony June 21, a production July 5, Luncheon September 26, Pageant October 18, Merrill Carbon Invitational December 7, and a staff dinner December 17. In celebration of the school's 75th anniversary, a number 75 block sign was erected on the school's compound, and anniversary buttons and tumblers were made to symbolize the school's milestone and promote school pride. The buttons can be purchased for EC $10 and tumblers for EC $75 by order. The Charlestown Secondary School was established on May 24, 1950 by Helen Bridgewater.
In regional news, St. Lucia's Prime Minister defends airport project, pledges full transparency. DBS St. Lucia reports.
Speaking at a recent engagement, the Prime Minister said the previous direction of the project raised serious red flags, including a lack of clear costs and no public tendering process. That, he said, was simply unacceptable.
I make no apologies for reviewing the development of the Heathrow International Airport. I make absolutely no apologies for that. I'm saying, in my good conscience, and in the conscience of the members of the cabinet, because it wasn't my own decision, and in the conscience of several consultants, we could not follow the model that was in place for HIA.
Pierre pledged that under his administration, every stage of the HIA terminal development will be made public, from the bidding process to construction updates.
Under this government, the airport construction is going to be transparent, it's going to be tendered, the people of the country will know exactly what the airport will cost them, the people of the country will know who are the contractors, the people of the country will know how the contractors are chosen, and the people of the country will know step by step how their money is being spent.
The Prime Minister also used the opportunity to defend his administration's broader development record, pushing back at critics who question the government's progress.
So our vision is a real vision. Our vision is not a vision of renderings and things that will never happen. Our vision is a real vision, a vision for the advancement of people.
He challenged the public to examine the government's track record, pointing to job creation, youth support programs, and education access as signs of meaningful progress. While he acknowledged that no administration is perfect, the Prime Minister said what matters is delivering results that improve lives, and doing so with integrity. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
Guyana's territorial integrity will remain intact. News source Guyana has the details.
As Venezuela continues with its acts of provocation against Guyana and its plans to elect a governor for Guyana's Essequibo on Sunday, Vice President Barra Jagdew is urging citizens not to panic, assuring that Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity will remain intact.
We have kept our country safe over the years. We have a strong international partnership. We have the ICJ ruling. We have a great case before the ICJ that I have no doubt would reaffirm the validity of the 1899 award. So we need to demonstrate that act maturely, rationally. We can't be as irrational as he is or as panicked as he is. We have to be deliberate in our undertaking.
While Venezuela has rejected the orders of the International Court of Justice to refrain from its planned elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo, the government of Guyana said there is no indication that the election will be conducted any place in Guyana. Mr. Jagdew said the planned election is another attempt by the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to deflect and seek relevance as he faces a mountain of U.S. sanctions. Guyana, Mr. Jagdew assured, will not bow and remains resolute that the ICJ will uphold the validity of the 1899 arbitral award, which settled the border dispute between Guyana and Venezuela.
Every time this guy acts up, we can't be self-flagellating. We have already know what Maduro is and the deflection. Every time he sends a vessel out there, like the last time he sent a vessel and was trying to meet the president, and the president did not meet with him because it was designed to take him out of his relative isolation. So when he meets the president with some leaders, he could claim that he has relevance.
The vice president said the Maduro administration has resorted to spreading propaganda because citizens of Venezuela have not bought into its spurious claims that the Essequibo belongs to Venezuela. He said, on the other hand, Guyanese do not need convincing, since all of Guyana knows the Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
We don't need to convince our people that Essequibo belongs to us. Every child knows that. We're in control of it. We go fly down to the border in Mabaruma and Port Kaituma and all of that. So I hear a lot of this from the opposition. Oh, we're not doing this campaign and Venezuela is doing that campaign. They need that campaign because their own people don't believe it.
On Wednesday, President Irfan Ali said Guyana will continue to pursue the case in the International Court of Justice, even as it strengthens its security defense with the support of the international community. The U.S. is among countries providing support to Guyana. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has warned Venezuela that any attack on Guyana would mark a very bad day for Venezuela.
We now bring you these international reports.
Iran has accelerated its nuclear program. The so-called breakout time, at which point Iran will have produced enough weapons-grade uranium for a bomb, is close to zero, perhaps a matter of weeks. Whether they have the technical know-how to develop a bomb is another question. The IAEA, which inspects the declared enrichment sites, one of them an underground facility in Natanz, the other buried inside a mountain at Fordow, do not have the access they once had. There is a lot the international community does not know about Iran's intentions, all of which makes negotiations in Rome, the fifth round of talks between the White House and Iran, all the more critical. The US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is there in Italy with orders to seal a diplomatic solution which Donald Trump believes is in reach.
I want to make a deal with Iran. I want to do something if it's possible. But for that to happen, it must stop sponsoring terror, halt its bloody proxy wars, and permanently and verifiably cease its pursuit of nuclear weapons. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The Israelis think it's all futile. In fact, some months ago, the Defense Minister, Israel Katz, said he thought Iran was more exposed than ever to an attack on its nuclear facilities. A series of reports this week, based on leaked US intelligence, suggests the Israeli Air Force is now well advanced in those plans, with or without US backing. Iran's defense minister warned on Sunday that Tehran will not hesitate to retaliate were they to come under attack. The White House seems sufficiently concerned that Donald Trump raised this with Benjamin Netanyahu when they spoke following the murder of the two Israeli diplomats in Washington. Hamid Reza Azizi is an Iran analyst. He gave us his view of the talks.
I think as we proceed with the negotiations and now we enter the fifth round, it's getting more and more complicated. We saw how tense the whole issue was over the past few days, and the statements coming from both sides, the red lines that both Donald Trump, the U.S. side, and also Ayatollah Khamenei, the Iranian supreme leader, tried to depict. All this means that now talks have entered into a very serious stage. On one hand, the very fact that they are still, committed to this diplomatic path could be a good sign. But then the core issue seems to be the Iranian ability to enrich uranium, which some U.S. officials, especially Special Envoy Witkoff, have said that it is the red line. And on the other side, Ayatollah Khamenei has, completely ruled out the possibility of stopping enriching uranium within the Iranian territory.
Yeah, as you suggest, so often it comes to the internal conversation within Iran. It's the doves versus the hawks. And it's the signalling that we get from the supreme leader that we have to watch. Does he want to deal?
If he didn't want to deal, I think the Iranian delegation wouldn't have been engaged in the negotiations, and they wouldn't have been in Rome for a new round. So what we have seen over the past few months, particularly since February, when Khamenei first ruled out negotiations, and he basically said that it is not honorable, not logical to talk, and then he allowed this. It seems that there seems to be sort of a division of labor. So at the executive level, of course, the administration, the foreign ministry in this case, is in charge of actual negotiation and diplomatic engagement. But as everybody, especially the United States administration, knows that it is in the end a decision of the supreme leader he comes in from time to time to clarify the red lines in order, in his view, to basically, give enough material to bargain, and at the same time, basically close the door to any sort of, unwanted compromise that actually the more moderate administration might be willing to accept, but not Khamenei himself.
US President Donald Trump cranked up his trade threats on Friday. He targeted both smartphone giant Apple along with imports from the European Union. His latest move hit global markets after weeks of de-escalation gave some relief. Trump threatened to impose a 25% tariff on Apple for any iPhone sold but not manufactured in the US. More than 60 million phones are sold in the country annually, but the US has no smartphone manufacturing. He also said he would recommend a 50% tariff on the EU to start June 1st. It would lead to big levies on luxury items, pharmaceuticals and other goods produced by European manufacturers. George Buckley is Nomura's chief European economist.
Well, I mean, this would be a disaster for trade. It's a significant uplift in what Mr. Trump was talking about doing originally, which was the 20% reciprocal tariffs. I think a lot of people had hoped that the delegation which was being sent to the US was going to provide some ideas and concrete ways forward in which to reduce that 20% reciprocal tariff.
Markets dropped on the news. The Euro Stoxx 600 fell 2%, while S&P 500 futures lost ground in pre-market activity. Trump didn't give a time frame for his warning to Apple. It isn't clear if he can put a tariff on an individual company. Apple did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment.
You were listening to the WINN FM 98.9 newscast. Our top stories were:
a multi-talented musician, Kamar Keynes, showered with praises from the Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley.
Government of St. Kitts and Nevis sends essential supplies to students in Cuba. Fatal hit and run in Bastille claims life of Ike Tross. Police appeal for public assistance.
STEM education program in Nevis to be enhanced with digital literacy framework.
Financial scams in St. Kitts and Nevis, an expanding threat to hard-earned savings.
Charlestown Secondary School celebrates 75 years of excellence.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister defends airport project, pledges full transparency. Guyana's territorial integrity will remain intact. Internationally, Iran and US resume nuclear negotiations in Rome.
Thank you for listening.